Hi, hi friends. I was supposed to talk on death and dying, and well, that is the topic even now. I couldn't come on time at around 1 or 5 as I was on a phone call with someone very important. So I couldn't come on time, but now I would like to share my thoughts about death and dying. Now, as a doctor, over the years, I have watched very closely birth and death, both. So, when I was in medical college and I was just a student and working in pediatric ward, I we were auscultating a very small baby. But the baby was probably 1 year old or something, and she was brought in a very dehydrated condition. She had diarrhea and from a very poor family, and we students were all around, as we are in the pediatric ward and we are learning. So what we did, we were auscultating this baby and listening the heartbeats with a stethoscope. And while just we were listening one by one, and suddenly I see the heartbeats gone. You checking it again and again and again, and the baby just died. And then suddenly the eyes was just little bit open, and I experienced firsthand death, as a medical student. And I was like really affected by it. The difference between life and death is very, very fine. It's only a fraction of a second. The moment the breathing stops, heart stops, life is gone, and that's the end of it. So we had to go out and reveal this to the parents, the mother. And I was like, I was so young at that time, and it was very hard for me to tell the mother that this is what has happened. But this is later on. Now I've been a doctor for 37 years now, and now I have learned uh, a lot more about birth and death. So today, particularly, I want to mention about that death is not to be seen negatively. Death is part of our life, and we have to accept it as it comes. When it happens naturally, it is the best. We now have, uh, we are part of a society where even birth happens in hospital, and unfortunately in many cases even death happens in hospital. So I prefer that if it does not happen in hospital, it is better, because then you are surrounded by your loved ones. So in last many years I have inspired people to welcome death, accept death, and treat it like a part of life. So that is very, very important. So also over the years I have seen many cancer patients or many terminally ill patients, and you know that they will probably die in few months. And if they have made up their mind that they want to go, I always tell my patients that I will support you, I will assist you. I don't want to fight death or like that. I just want to say, all right, I will support you also in your transition, in your changeover, in your making also your death beautiful, because this is how we would like to see death, as our friend, to welcome and to celebrate life, and let go of this physical body, and make the transition. So uh, when the cancer patients or any such patients come, I take time out. I speak to them very properly about what is probably likely to happen and what they should probably want to do in their life, as this is the time for winding up. So whatever are their desires, whatever they want to share with others, it is nice that they wind up and be ready, because there's a possibility that you may lose your memory. You may not remember anything. You may think you may live longer, which is fine if you do, but if you don't, it's always better to finish all these unfinished businesses and then make peace. Because really the last few days, when a person is dying or is heading towards a death, is also not necessarily in the physical plane. It's always somewhere else, half here, half there. The person is going through the summary of life. the entire lifetime, is there in front of him. Like a movie, the scenes are played and the dialogue happens. So obviously the first thing is there's denial that I am going to not die. That is the first stage. Then the second stage would be anger, like, why me, why do I have to die? Then the third stage that comes is that of bargaining. Can I do something? Can I do something about it so that I can evade it? And then the fourth one will be of depression, because oh, probably it is coming. And then finally the last stage is that of acceptance. So these are the few stages that the person goes through, and then the acceptance comes. So here is the time to make peace with your own life, to make peace with all the people that were dear and near and with whom you had some relationship. Also make really peace with that, and then come to accept. Generally those who are quite intuitive or sensitive, they can see the signs of death coming even 3 weeks ahead of time. So this is what even I have seen it, and then I tell people that it looks like the time is now coming very soon. So at the time, give them, when their breathing changes, when their ears, are lobes are falling, these are a few signs that you think that now death is nearing. You want to not trouble them with anything, not too much of noise. Prayers are fine if they are okay with it. If they're not, you can also give them a break. Don't discuss things out in their room. Let them be very quiet. um, have a lot of very peaceful and positive atmosphere, so that the death also becomes a very beautiful experience. When the breathing changes completely, which we call it as chain stop breathing, where suddenly the breathing is increasing, then there's a pause, then again there's a second cycle, then it is increasing, then there's a pause. You understand that now this is going to happen. Now do not be afraid. I've seen many families, they get very panicked. Oh, the breathing is going to stop or something, and then they rush to call the doctor, then the oxygen, and then they want to take the patient to the hospital, and maybe put them on a machine or something. And then our own dear one whose time has come ends up being in a very isolated atmosphere, completely alone, tied down with the machines, and breathing in the last. So that's really hard. If we are prepared and if we are ready that the person is now definitely going to go and is making the transition, then we can give them the comfort of going in their own home, in their own bed, surrounded by their dear ones, holding their hands, or just um, caressing them gently. Or one of the very important thing is that if they are going, especially last few days or few hours, I usually inspire people to not to call them out, or disturb them in the process. Because in our Hindu philosophy, we say that you're trying to mind the soul. Obviously what goes is the what is perishable is the body, that's going to merge into the five elements, because it was made from the five elements. It's going to go back into it. But the soul, which is eternal, is just the one which is going to leave the body and is not perishable at all. It's the eternal one. So why do we have to worry about that part? And so you do not call out and do not bind, because it is their journey now. It's their journey, onward journey. They want to go, and they whenever the exact right time that will come, they will stop breathing, and they will pass on. So this is how you be ready, and this happens. And to be witness, have courage to witness someone going. I also make it a point, if my dear ones are going, I make it a point also to go to the cremation place, because I want to see the complete journey. I know that now within hours, it will become ash, and you understand the fragility of the human life, completely incomplete. While I am doing this, at one place I may be hearing a news that somebody gave birth to a new baby. So birth and death, they are the miracles of life, and in between is what we are celebrating our life. So, as a doctor, a very gentle approach, approach where accepting death as a natural phenomena, welcoming it, honoring it, supporting it. I've been very fortunate also to use flower remedies to help them make this transition very comfortable. So, so I tell my patients that I cannot probably now say anything about when this will happen, the death, but I can make the time that he has now on this planet a lot more comfortable. So let's give them a quality life. And I have seen when we give the remedies, they have a after a few days a very peaceful, beautiful smile on their face, and ready to make the transition. Uh, and while the remedies that I usually mention, the one of the formula that I use quite often is called as first aid remedies. I have given this remedy. If they cannot take it orally, we also put it on the umbilicus, a few drops, and even that works. And you can also give orally. So the transition, the going is, not in a restless fashion, but in an extremely peaceful, calm, you know uh, a very smooth transition. And if required, the family members also can be given the flower remedies. This is the formula number one. I call it as first aid remedy. So I give it also to them because it also makes them feel very calm and then welcome this entire moment. In the case where someone is in coma and is there for many years like that, it is so hard for the entire family, but you have to accept it. And in fact, we pray that the person now feels the freedom to be out of this physical life and pain. So this is what we do. I would like to ask all my friends here, if you have any comments, please leave it in the comment section. This is how I view death. And I also would like to mention that there are subtle bodies that we have, like apart from the physical body, we have etheric body, our astral body, our lower mental, higher mental, and of course our spiritual body. So it is the soul that, with the other three subtle bodies that go, and the physical, etheric, the mental, lower mental, and astral, these bodies just uh, once again, dissolve into the five elements. So finally, whatever sanskar or whatever karmas that we have, we will be carrying it for the next lifetime, and accordingly, our journey will begin again. So, as a doctor, medical doctor, I would like to incorporate this philosophy of death and life and birth, everything into a part of my practicing medicine, because that is the way it is. It's all learning, it's all part of life, and it's all growing in it. So if you please do not be afraid of death. This is what I want to say. Don't get panic. Don't create an atmosphere of that kind at all. Because really death is also truly a freedom of a different kind, so it's also post somebody's death, we should actually celebrate their life, and that would be very nice, to remember the person in a very positive, in a very beautiful way. And also when when we see somebody dying, the last thing that I want to say, we also relate to our own self, that even we are perishable. My name, my body, my entire physical existence is completely fragile. It's a very perishable. It has come, I have come with an expiry date, so all of us also have come here with an expiry date. And so we are not eternal in the body sense. In the soul sense, yes, we are. So I have seen some of my even dear friends dying, and have assisted and have been there till their last time, last hour. So very closely I have watched them going through the process, and I have been constantly reminded that is exactly also going to be my course. So constantly being aware that I'm perishable, I'm able to value life a lot more and celebrate and live life each day as it comes. Today is my day, and in the night I make peace with myself that in case if death comes tomorrow, I am ready for it. I have lived my life to the fullest every single day, living in the now, living in the present, letting go of all the grudges and knots and emotional stuff, and just releasing all of it and forgiving and rejoicing life today would be the best way, because no one knows when is the tomorrow or whether there is a tomorrow. So thank you very much, friends, and if you want me to talk on any other topics, do let me know. The flower remedies are very gentle, beautiful healers of nature that I use. It's the energy of the flower that helps the person to make this transition at the time of death very, very peaceful and comfortable, and also to the people around them to accept it and welcome it beautifully, and also accept it also that this will happen in our own life. So thank you very much. Namaste, and I'll see you again tomorrow with another interesting topic.